Hello guys, brothers and sisters, how are you today? I just wanted to make it's almost like a video response, but not really, to Pastor Paul Bagley's video that he made for the river of Azov in Russia. He just reported that it has turned blood red, which is one of the signs of the end times. Now, the the chapter that he used was Revelation 16, and it says, "I heard a mighty voice from the temple say to the seven angels, 'Go your way and pour out on the earth the seven bowls containing God's wrath.' So the first angel left the temple, poured out his bowl on the earth, and it says horrible malignant swords broke out on everyone. And then the second plague was poured out on the sea, and it became like the blood of a corpse." Now, this is the only problem that I have with this verse. This is why I don't believe we're here yet to that point, because these are the wraths. This is the wrath of God poured out on the earth. Again, we his people were not appointed to his wrath. So, where else do we find lakes and rivers turning into blood? Well, if we go to the two witnesses, which is, I believe this is very likely that we are at this point. It says here in Revelations 11, verse 3, "He will give power to the two witnesses, and they will be clothed in burlap, and will prophesy during those days for 1,260 days." Now, this is where we get to the interesting part. The witnesses have the power to cause the rivers to turn into blood, as well as drought in various parts of the earth. It says here, chapter 11, verse 6, it says, "They have the power to shut the sky so that no rain will fall for as long as they prophesy," which is droughts. So this is what we have now on the earth. We have one of the worst droughts in all time. And they also have the power to turn the rivers and the oceans into blood. And that is also in verse 6. "And to strike the earth with every kind of plague as often as they wish." This sounds very familiar to what's going on right now. There are plagues right now on the earth that we have no idea where these things are coming from. There's definitely drought, and as you can see from Pastor Paul Bagley's video, there are lakes and rivers turning into blood. He also wrote a book last year from the Texas blood lakes. Now, for me, this is more consistent with the word, because this is before the harvest of the earth, which to me, that's the rapture. Then if you go on in that's chapter 11. And that's the two witnesses, chapter 11, Revelation chapter 11, verse 6. If you go on to chapter Revelations 12, this is the woman and the dragon. The woman is Israel, and the dragon is Satan. Now, if you read throughout this whole chapter, you can see that it's almost like it's prophesying in a way, because it talks about the birth of Jesus, and it talks about how the dragon, Satan, tried to destroy him, but he was caught up, into heaven, and the dragon couldn't destroy him. And if you read all up and down chapter 12, you can see that. But this part, this is what I want you to see, because well, let's look at this part. Let's look at verse 7, chapter 12. It says, there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels, and the dragon lost the battle, and he and his angels were forced out of heaven. This great dragon, the ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, the one deceiving the whole world, was thrown down into earth with all his angels. And then there's a starting in verse 9, there is a loud voice in heaven shouting across the heavens. This part of Revelations, then if you go straight to chapter 13, it says, then the dragon realized that he had been thrown down to the earth. He pursued the woman who gave birth to the male child. The woman is Israel. But she was given wings like those of great eagle to fly to a place prepared for her in the wilderness. Now, Israel is still in its place. You know what I mean? The people are still there. The devil hasn't pushed Israel out of its country. This is a great sign that the rapture is very near, because it says here, there's a place prepared for Israel in the wilderness. Obviously, Israel, the Israelites are not in the wilderness now. They're in Israel, their town, their home place. And it says, there she would be cared for and protected from the dragon for a times and a half a time, which is 3.5 years. And then it says the dragon tried to drown the woman with a flood. Basically, Satan is gonna try to kill the Israelites. And it says here, the earth helped her, which is Israel, by opening its mouth and swallowing the river that gushed out from the mouth of the dragon. Now, he tried to destroy Israel. He made an attempt to destroy Israel. The earth helped Israel. It swallowed the flood. Now, this is very, very crucial. This is a key point that I want you to see. At this point, Israel basically got pushed out of their land, because Satan had just came after them, and they just ran into the wilderness. Right. Then it says, verse 17, and the dragon was angry at the woman and declared war against the rest of her children. Who's the rest of her children? That, I believe, that's the rest of us, which is the Christians. The Catholics, the Pentecostals, but I believe that's everyone other than Israel. And it says also all those who kept God's commandments and maintained the testimony for Jesus. So that's the rest of her children and all those who kept God's commandments, which is the 10 commandments, and maintained their testimony for Jesus. So Satan is furious now. He's gonna come after. The Christians, anybody who believes in Christ. He's gonna come out to destroy us. He tried to destroy Israel, and he couldn't, so he's coming after us too. I don't believe we're at this point yet, because Israel's still in Israel. Now, we go to verse chapter 13. This is the beast of the sea. I believe this again to be the world power, the NWO, New World Order. And then if you go to chapter 13, verse 11, this is the beast from the earth. So this is the beast that will force everyone, great or small, to wear the mark 666. This the key thing I want you guys to see here is he says verse 16, he requires everyone, small, great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or the forehead. And basically you can't buy or sell unless you wear the mark. Then it says, verse 18, let the one understanding solve the meaning of the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. So he will require everyone to wear the mark on the right hand or the forehead. Now, obviously, a lot of us aren't taking this mark, so you could try again. But anyway, at this point, you can see that the mark of the beast is out there, but it's not to the point where you can't buy or sell without having the mark. You could still use your credit card. You could still pay with cash. You could still do all these things. But they're in the process of this. And I don't believe we're up to that part yet. Also, one quick remark I wanted to make in reference to the witnesses. I mean, is it possible that they're here now and we don't know about them? I think it's possible. And with the news media now today, with them covering so much stuff, I wouldn't doubt if they are here and they are not covering it. But is it possible they're here? I think so. So we're up to after chapter 13. It talks about the 144,000. Then it talks about verse 6, chapter 14. The angel flies overhead. He tells you anyone who worships the beast, verse 9, or his statue, or accepts the mark on the forehead or on the hand, will drink God's anger, which is the wrath of God. Then comes the harvest of the earth, which is the I believe this to be the rapture, the harvest of the earth. Chapter 14, verse 14. It says, I saw a white cloud, and seated on the cloud was someone like the Son of Man. Someone like the Son of Man. And he had a gold crown on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Then another angel came from the temple and shouted to the one sitting on the cloud, swing the sickle, for the time of the harvest has come. The crop on the earth is ripe. So the one sitting on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the whole earth was harvested. This is the only time that I see in the book of Revelation where it's clear as day that the whole earth gets harvested. To me, that is the rapture. I feel that we are very close to that part. And if you believe that in chapter 11, if you believe that the two witnesses are out there right now, then we're very close to the rapture. And then comes the 7 bowls, or the 7 vials of the wrath of God. So guys, I hope you're ready. I believe we're very close.